This handsome chap is Ivan. Now, Ivan is our 6-year-old Siberian Eagle Owl. So Siberian Eagle Owls are related to the Eurasian Eagle Owl or European Eagle Owl. They're just a little bit fluffier because they're from a colder climate. They're also lighter in coloration and slightly smaller as well. They're basically just a subspecies of those guys. Now, Ivan is an incredibly popular bird here at SMJ Falconry. He does a lot of our shows. He also does lots and lots of our experience days. And we also go to schools with Ivan as well, because he's a very well-rounded bird. Now, a lot of people hear eagle owl, and they assume it's a hybrid between an eagle and an owl. It's not a case at all. They are all species of owl, but they are basically just a very large species of owl. They're defined by their very, very big, very powerful feet, often very, very big body size as well. Incredibly big ear tufts that stick up on top of their head as well to help with their camouflage. Basically breaks up that line of their facial disc. But most eagle owls rely on their eyes more than their ears. Now you'll see great grey owls with their massive facial discs, and then the barn owls have pretty pronounced big facial discs as well, whereas eagle owls have fairly large facial discs, but it's mainly about how big their eyes are. And they use those big, big eyes to basically hone in and find any of their prey. And a lot of the eagle owl species do have orange coloured eyes. So that helps them when it's pretty dark, to be honest. It helps them process more light so they can see better in darker conditions. Now, Ivan himself is a very cheeky chap, but he's also very greedy at the same time. So we do lots and lots of different work with Ivan, from our flying displays to our experience days in our schools. He's even done a couple of wedding ring deliveries as well, so he's quite an active boy. And this is because we've worked with him consistently. But he does have his odd cheeky trait, so we often fly him during the flying display. We'll get him to fly over the top of some people, mainly children, and then lie down in the show field. His very naughty trait is to miss some of them out and then pick on just one or two of them and then just swoop up and over at the very last second, which is pretty fun to watch. But it's to demonstrate how these guys, despite being a big bird, they are pretty quiet when they fly. Ivan, during his years with us, has had a few naughty little traits. Not naughty, but he's just quite a quirky little boy. One of the things that jumped out to us, obviously with 2020, what happened in 2020, Ivan didn't do many shows that year, which was quite a key year, his first year doing shows. So as such with Ivan, we actually got booked for quite a lot of holiday parks. Now, holiday parks, it was actually across the south coast and all the way into Norfolk that we went to. Now, for these shows, obviously he met quite a few new sights and sounds, and one of them being seagulls, or herring gulls I should say, not seagulls, herring gulls. Now, obviously being a very big predatory bird, he was quite scary for the herring gulls to see. So as soon as he came out and started flying, they used to basically swoop down, squawk and tell him off. And Ivan's response to that was to actually hide under the van. So as soon as the herring gulls came out, he hid straight under the van. So one of the ways to get around this, we flew him very, very quickly for only a couple of minutes at each of the holiday parks, just as a first bird, to get him out the way before the herring gulls saw that there was predatory birds in the area, and then before Ivan hid away under the van. But yeah, it was a very, very silly little thing, but he was a bit scared, bless him. And another thing that happened a couple of years ago was we were at a farm park, which it was actually the Wild Boar Park over towards Preston, and over there Ivan had never seen an ostrich before. And obviously it's a very, very strange sight, very, very big body, very, very long neck and very, very small head. Ivan didn't know what to make of it. He watched them for a bit, and during our flying display, this ostrich decided to sprint across its field, and Ivan said, "Oh my gosh, I don't like that." So he actually flew through some trees over the ostrich pen, which is a bit bizarre, over the ostrich pen, through some trees, and he ended up on the other side of a very, very big river because it was in flood. It was a little bit wet during that summer, so the river was a very, very raging torrent. He did manage to get to the other side of the bank, so at that point I was like, well, how do I get him back here? So I let him collect his thoughts for a bit, waited for him to make his characteristic little call that he makes, and as soon as I saw he was comfortable, I called him back for some food. Now, Ivan got halfway, and the only way I can see it is that Ivan saw the reflection of the trees in the water, and he thought he could land in the water. Unfortunately, because he landed slap bang in the middle of the river, he got swept downstream a good 100 yards very, very quickly. And being basically just a big bag of feathers, he soaked up the river and he got drenched. Thankfully, owls and birds do have this kind of instinct to flap or swim their way to the bank. So he did manage to get himself to the bank, unfortunately on the other side of the river. And being absolutely drenched, the only way to retrieve him was to swim across, because there was no bridge, there was no path across for a good mile or two apparently. So best bet and quickest way was to actually swim across. Now, thankfully, my partner Vicky, she was with us with our kids at the time, and she had a spare change of clothes in the back of the car, so she volunteered to swim across. And what did Ivan do when she got across? He just sat there and hissed and clacked his beak. He was very upset and basically blamed Vicky for the whole debacle. It was your fault, dude. Yeah. But she picked him up and then she swam back across. It was up to her chest. It was pretty big, pretty deep for a small little stream, up to her chest height. She did manage to get back across with Ivan, and he was just drenched. He was a drowned rat. And this kind of trait where he landed in the river there, it's kind of transferred across to snow as well. We've had Ivan out in this winter in the snow, and he sometimes ended up crashing in the snow and tipping over. Obviously, being used to the grass and the normal ground of our flying field, he just got a little bit confused by the completely white ground, and he's ended up crashing in the snow a couple of times as well. But you're a very handsome chap, and you're a bit silly, but you are probably one of the most favourite birds that we've got here for when it comes to free flying, as well as our shows, all sorts of different things. Ivan's basically one of the stars at SMJ at the moment. Yes. So if you've enjoyed this Meet the Birds video on Ivan, then please do check out the rest of the playlists. We do have a couple of videos on the Meet the Birds, and we're doing longer form content for as many birds as we can. We also got some exciting videos coming up soon, just so long as we get time and a little bit of space to actually make them. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.